It's Monday, July 2. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The Police Federation is describing as a breath of fresh air a meeting it had last week with Minister without portfolio in the Finance Ministry, Favour Williams. Police Federation Chairman Corporal Arlene McBean says the meeting focused on ongoing wage negotiations. Corporal McBean says the Federation considers the current offer on the table minuscule. The Federation and the government were deadlocked following previous meetings with the administration's then chief negotiator, Rudyard Spencer. Corporal McBean says the Federation is hopeful for positive feedback following the meeting it had with Minister Williams. Bilateral trade between Jamaica and the People's Republic of China increased from US $58 million in 2000 to US $382 million in 2017. This is according to Commercial Counselor, Economic and Commercial Counselor's Office at the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Jamaica, Jiang Fan. He noted that Jamaica remains China's largest trading partner in the English-speaking Caribbean. Fan, who was speaking at the recent launch of Chinese heavy-duty truck manufacturer Shackman's operations here, points out that besides alumina, Jamaica will shortly commerce lobster exports to China, while adding that his country is the third largest source of local imports. He also said that China is now the biggest source of foreign direct investments for Jamaica. This, he noted, is evidenced by the many projects that have been completed or are underway involving 16 Chinese entities whose activities have generated nearly 10,000 new jobs. Opposition People's National Party's Shadow Minister on Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Fenton Ferguson, said that no food safety plan can exist without addressing predial larceny. He said that there is an estimated annual loss of $6 billion due to predial larceny, which he described as a great deterrent to active farmers and other players in the field of agriculture. The spokesperson also noted that predial larceny was driving farmers away from the sector. Dr. Ferguson told Parliament during his sectoral presentation last week that there needs to be a revision of the Agricultural Produce and Predial Larceny Act with a view to increasing the fines. He said that although the government is presently contemplating an increase of the fine for predial larceny from $250,000 to $3 million. Dr. Ferguson said that predial larceny is a major organized crime and should be treated as such. The PMP shadow spokesman said that under a new deal, the PMP will promulgate legislation for predial larceny linking it to organized crime and the Proceeds of Crime Act in a laser-like approach to rid the farmers of what he calls the cancer. Jamaica's chief judge says despite resource constraints, several courts island-wide have been showing significant improvements in their performance. Regarding criminal trials, Chief Justice Brian Sykes says the statistics revealed that hearing date certainty is approximately 54%, while the average across all divisions is 69%. Divisions such as probate and matrimonial are said to be doing well, with hearing date certainty over 80%. For the first quarter of 2018, commercial courts are reporting a hearing date certainty of 92%. As it relates to parish courts, the parishes of St. Andrew, St. Anne, and Westmoreland have seen a significant improvement in case clearance rate and backlog reduction, despite limited resources. Justice Sykes noted that Westmoreland, which has one of the heaviest case loads, now has a case clearance of 86.7%, while the corporate areas stands at 76.25%. Addressing members of the judiciary at a 3-day seminar, Sykes said that several parish courts have been demonstrating mastery of case flow management and, in the process, clearing their backlogs. In regional news, the High Court in Barbados can no longer impose mandatory death sentences on convicted murderers. Last week, the Caribbean Court of Justice, the island's highest court, struck down the mandatory death penalty on the grounds that it is unconstitutional. The judgments, the last which Sir Dennis Byron will deliver as CCJ president, as he will demit office on Tuesday, were delivered in a pair of unrelated death penalty cases from Barbados, filed by lawyers for Jabari Sensimania Navarris and Dwayne Omar Severin, that were consolidated because both appeals challenged the murder convictions of each of the men and the constitutionality of the mandatory death sentence for murder in Barbados. Although dismissing the appeals against their convictions, the CCJ ordered that the appellants be expeditiously taken before the local Supreme Court for resentencing. In sports, Sport Minister Olivia Grange says that despite the criticisms of the maquette of the statue being created for Olympian Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, she is happy there is a public discourse about it. Fraser-Pryce's statue's maquette, a small mock-up of the final product, was unveiled at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on June 23. However, much like when fellow Olympian Usain Bolt was unveiled ahead of his statue last year, the Jamaican public has given largely negative response to it, saying that it does not look like the sprinter. But Grange told the Gleaner that this was expected, especially after the response of the maquette to Bolt's statue. And that's it for the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.